All right, welcome everyone to today's Process Optimization Academy session focused on process optimization's pre-built connections with both Continual Improvement Management and Automation Center. So as we discussed in our last session that covered the connection with workforce optimization, one of the biggest advantages you get by taking an in-platform approach to process mining, and really an in-platform approach to most things, is the connections with the value-add solutions on the platform to create a more complete experience. So when it comes to process mining, we're talking about creating a more efficient closed-loop continual improvement experience. But before we get to continual improvement and Automation Center, we have to get the Academy logistics and housekeepings out of the way for our newcomers. And for those of you that there's more of you that are stumbling on these recordings for the first time, and this is your first exposure to these sessions. So the purpose of these sessions are to help us all get better educated on ServiceNow's in-platform process mining capabilities. We'll provide how-tos, practical guidance, use cases, product updates. And really, this is just a place where, as a group, we can come together and exchange ideas and collaborate so we all continue to get better. How the sessions work: we'll have a scheduled topic that we'll usually cover for the first 30, 40 minutes or so, and then we'll open it up for questions on that topic. And then after that, we'll open it up for just general questions above and beyond the topic of the day, kind of a sort of an office hours approach. As I mentioned before we started the recording, these sessions will be recorded and eventually posted on the community site, so consider yourself warned. And then finally, feel free to post your questions in the Q&A section. I'll try to get to them during the session, but usually we get to those after we stop presenting the content. And then for situations where we don't have answers for your question immediately, we'll do our best to follow up and post them on the process optimization community. Or maybe we'll use them as a future topic, so that actually the next couple of sessions coming up are based on some questions that have come in. And a reminder, if you have ideas for future sessions, please put them in the chat, and we'll post them to our process optimization community page. Community page has been updated, just so you know. Many of you have maybe seen it, and now process optimization does have its own landing spot, so you can get to it from the forums menu. You know this is the slide that says anything we say and do here today can't be held against us in the court of law, or me against me in the court of law. It's also the slide that says, as part of these conversations, if we make any forward-looking statements about what might be coming in the future and in future releases, you should take them as forward-looking statements. Make no decisions based on them, because they're always subject to change, and I'm sure you've all read the fine print at this point. Now, today, we have a special guest joining me to help us cover the Automation Center portion of the conversation. Prasad, you want to take a minute to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Prasad Velamuri. I'm a senior principal product manager, part of the outbound product management team for Automation Engine.
Perfect. And for those that have not met before, my name is Dan Grady. I'm part of the product management team focused on our process optimization or in-platform process mining solution. So the agenda for today, we'll do, as always, a quick process mining refresher, a little 101. And then we'll dive into continual improvement management. We'll then touch on Automation Center, both of those kind of a why and what sessions, kind of introduce you to those concepts if you're new to them, and then talk a little bit about the integration with, or I shouldn't say integration, remember, I'm trying to say connections. So it's all one platform, the connection with process optimization. We'll get to your questions. For those that are new, we'll talk about how you can get started with process optimization, what other resources are out there, and then we'll just wrap up with, hey, what's coming next in terms of these sessions. So, as always, the quick two-minute process mining 101 for our newcomers. With everything we do, there's a design and desired path in our minds for how it should work and how things should play out, whether that be planning events like these Academy sessions or a business process. And when you design things, you design for efficiency as well as completeness to provide the best experience possible for everyone. And unfortunately, what we design isn't always what ends up happening in reality. What in-platform process mining, or our process optimization solution, allows us to do is use the audit log data that is generated as records and work move through a given workflow on the ServiceNow platform to create a visual representation of what is actually happening within our given processes. And then this new level of visibility, it's going to help us accelerate our ability to identify inefficiencies, non-conformant process activities, and ultimately just improvement opportunities. So process mining gives us the ability to answer process questions that just have historically been pretty challenging for a lot of customers to answer for themselves. So where traditional analytics and all those dashboards that we built are going to allow us to answer a lot of the what questions about our processes, like how many tickets have we closed and how long has it taken to close them, process mining helps us answer the whys. So things like, where is our process stuck and where is the rework happening? Where are tickets ping-ponging between different groups and where aren't we conforming to the process that we designed? All of these things that have been pretty difficult to answer and act upon are now available in just a couple of clicks. And if you want to see those couple of clicks, go back and watch Process Optimization Academy Session 1. We go through how quickly it is, or the process of visualizing your data. It takes all of 5 minutes to kind of set up a visualized process map. So the ability to answer all of these other questions, what we like to say here at ServiceNow is that process optimization is going to get you to the why behind all of your KPIs that are out there. Now, an important piece is kind of the closed loop approach. And this is kind of why we're having this session today, or one of the focuses of this session today. Like when you look at optimizing processes with ServiceNow, you can really break it down into 4 high-level steps: detect, analyze, improve, and monitor. And many of you are probably already using some of the platform's detection methods, like notifications on maybe SLA breaches and performance analytics dashboards where you set targets and thresholds aligned to your organizational KPIs, right? These are all the things the platform helps you to let you know that something's not going according to plan, like something went bump in the night. And then when that happens, you need to move to the analyze stage, which is where process optimization really dominates, with things like visualized process maps, bottleneck, root cause, variation analysis, as well as a pre-built connection with a machine learning solution on the platform called automation discovery. Now, once you use process optimization to help you identify where and how to improve your processes, you move to that improve stage, which is what the platform is all about, whether it's automating decisions with predictive intelligence, like kind of how to triage and route a ticket, or improving an intake experience with the virtual agent, or maybe process optimization identified some manual steps as part of a process that you want to automate away with automation engine and our robotic process automation solution that we now have on the platform. Or maybe process optimization helps you identify just something from a human perspective. It might not be an automation that you can just stop doing. Like I had a customer a couple of weeks ago tell me that they found that they had 2 levels of approval on somebody requesting printer toner. Do you really need 2 levels of approval on somebody requesting printer toner? I think not. And just by removing that 2nd level approval, they increase the closure times of those types of requests. So you've got your improve phase, lots of stuff you can do on the platform for that. And then finally, this is a big piece. We want to make sure that whatever changes we're making, they get tracked, right? And then that we start tracking whether they're working or not and the impact that they're making. And this is where the connections with Continual Improvement Management Automation Center come in to help us close the loop. Too often, we use analytical tools to find insights and things that we can improve upon. We go tell somebody at lunch, our friend, that what we found, and that's where the insight dies. These solutions that we're going to talk about here today help us make sure that we capture those insights, those findings, those improvement opportunities, and make sure they get followed up on, and then that the impact is communicated out to the organization. All right, let's dive into Continual Improvement Management, and then we'll transition over to Automation Center. So Continual Improvement Management, what it's there to do is help drive service excellence across the organization by providing a structured framework for kind of initiating and tracking all the improvements in a single register or table on the platform. It's going to allow us to align individual improvement initiatives with business goals and overall business strategy. And then through the workbench and dashboards, it's going to help provide transparency for all the different stakeholders that are involved in kind of improvement initiatives. So the data and visibility is going to help us make smarter decisions when it comes to prioritization or initiative prioritization. And it also helps us measure and communicate the value and impact of all the different improvement initiatives that we're finding. So I'll show you a couple of those screens in the demonstration. Now, just so you're aware, the continual improvement applications available as part of ITSM, CSM, HR Pro SKUs, which means you'll have access to it with process optimization because you're going to be attaching process optimization to those SKUs. Or that's kind of how you're entitled to process optimization these days. You have the ability to get it via our enterprise offerings for ITSM and CSM, and then you have the ability to attach it to your ITSM, CSM, HR, and App Engine entitlements as long as they're at the pro level or above. So you can create improvement initiatives from lots of different places. So one of them obviously is directly within the continual improvement application itself. But you also have the ability to create these initiatives from incidents, problems, services under SPM, survey results, ideas and demands. From a project, you can create these. You can get to the ability, or you have the ability to create improvement initiatives from your CMDB health dashboard or GRC audit review. Of course, you have the ability to create them from performance analytics or the benchmarks. And then, the focus of today's session is that ability to be able to create right from your analysis inside of process optimization and improvement initiative to get it inside of the continual improvement register. Now, once these initiatives are created, they move through that structured framework and process where they're reviewed, classified, linked to organizational strategies and measurable goals. And these linkages are important so you can, when you get to the dashboard side of it, right? The effort and benefits for each initiative are set, and then we use an awesome analytical capability on the platform called Spotlight. If you're not familiar with Spotlight, you should check it out, right? What that's going to allow us to do is score and rank the initiatives to help us prioritize them. Then you've got phases and that you set up within an initiative. If it's a more complex one, tasks then get created and assigned to be completed as part of the improvement initiative so we can track and monitor the progress. And then once the tasks are complete, we review, close, and measure the success and value. So just kind of real quick introduction to the framework. This isn't just like, hey, we put something in the table. There's a whole workflow behind tracking and monitoring these improvement initiatives. And when we talk about tracking and measuring success, continual improvement comes with a workbench that allows you to manage and monitor initiatives in a sprint backlog type of fashion. And then you have the dashboard, which gives us visibility into three aspects of our improvement program: the impact that these initiatives are making, the engagement, and the activity level. So activity and engagement are all about the number of initiatives and the execution of the initiatives and by who's initiating them and acting upon them. And then the impact is going to be tied to the execution against those different strategies and objectives that you're linking, and also the KPIs that are tied to them as well. So to get to those impact metrics, it's important that our objectives are defined properly and there are KPIs associated that we can tie the initiatives to for tracking purposes. So I know everyone always likes to have some examples that they can go off of. Here's just a few samples of continual improvement management ideas and KPIs that might be tied to them. And then lastly, I wanted to share kind of one of the things that we're doing here at ServiceNow. So here at ServiceNow, we've tied our processes. We kind of really focus in on the speed and productivity targets for each of our individual workflows. Those are where a lot of our KPIs are tied to. And then what we do inside of our CXO dashboard, the associated continual improvement management initiatives, their engagement and their activities, they're all kind of bundled up inside of that CXO dashboard that's out there. So the process optimization project that we've linked to a process, the most recent version is kind of available via dashboard. So all the stakeholders that are involved with a given process, they're going to get a lens into a process from the KPIs all the way down through the visual process maps that show the reality behind the KPI and the improvement initiatives that are getting logged against the process to keep those KPIs moving in the right direction. And so it's kind of what we've done here at ServiceNow is we've kind of built detect, analyze, improve, and monitor all into a single dashboard-based approach that sits on the CAO's desktop. So if you ever come in for an executive briefing meeting here at ServiceNow, what you'll see is that they'll actually walk you through the process that we take from our CAO dashboard, the high-level KPIs, or actually our CXO dashboard and the high-level KPIs, all the way down, traversing it all the way down into a view that looks like this, where you can see the individual processes, the targets from a speed and productivity perspective, the number of continual improvement initiatives that are linked to it, and then links directly to the visualized process map and process optimization. So let's quickly take a look at how this might flow in my demo environment here. I need to log back in, of course. Happens to me all the time. I talk too long. And we'll just start at the dashboard level, right? The detect piece. So I'll come here to my favorites. I've got my incident process owner dashboard. So the process may start on a dashboard that looks something like this, where I have all the key performance indicators that I'm interested from, in this case, I'm the incident process owner. And maybe I see something trending in the wrong direction, or my MTR is not performing as I'd like. I'm able to go right from there, drill down to the summary and insights page for the data, or my incident data that we've mined as it relates to that process. I get some more detailed KPIs about that. But as you've heard about in prior sessions, the real value here, one of the real value add parts of the solution, are these insight cards or finding definitions that kind of bubble up process inefficiencies and non-conformant activities. So I don't really, I get a head start on my analysis, and I can start looking at these, and I see the one that jumps out to me right now that I want to focus on is, hey, of my incident data, I've got about 40% that go to awaiting caller info, and that could be an area that's impacting that MTTR metric. So let me just drill in and focus in on the incidents that are going to awaiting caller info. So high-level KPI, right to an insight, and then down to the detailed process map for just the incidents that are moving through that path. And I can see that path right here on the map if I wanted to focus in. I could get some statistics about those incidents here, where I can see that, hey, those 5,800 incidents are taking 853 different routes to get to closure. Their average duration is 2 weeks, and their standard deviation is 2 weeks as well. But then I can come over here and use my breakdowns on the left-hand side to start seeing the data or these incidents in different lights. The first thing that I'll focus on is my channels that they're coming in. And I start looking at self-service, email, portal, and I can see that while self-service might be my highest volume channel for these types of incidents that are going to awaiting caller info, email has an additional week of average duration. So that's an area that I might want to focus in on. So I'll just narrow it down to those that came in via email. And then if I come in here and want to do a little bit of category analysis, I can see for those incidents that are going to awaiting caller info coming in via email, a large bulk of them are categorized as employee portals. So let me just focus in on those. And then I want to dig deeper into this. I can start digging into the records themselves. Again, advantage of being in platform is I can always get to the detailed records and start using platform capability to do things like, hey, I like these detailed records, but maybe I want to get a quick dashboard so I can launch into interactive analysis and start asking some follow-up questions of this detailed data that I found here. Interactive analysis, single click, gets you a dashboard. As you've heard me talk about before, information tends to be one of the most addictive and contagious things out there. When you give people a little bit, they're always going to have new questions. This allows them to quickly be able to ask and answer some of those questions. Or I can come in here and I can say, you know what? I want to start looking and analyzing some of the unstructured data inside of those tickets using machine learning or cluster-based analysis. And I can see that I've got a bunch of tickets that have within their short description and descriptions the term email. And if I go into those tickets that have been clustered together, I see here that we have an issue with or people wanting to update their email address in their profile. Seems like something that we should have a catalog item for, or a virtual agent conversation for. It's something that we can drive more self-service and improve that intake experience. So now that I've done my analysis, I have the ability right here from the analyst workbench inside of process optimization to come over and create either an automation idea, which Prasad is going to talk about in detail in a second. So we'll, as soon as I finish this, so we can create automation ideas, or I can create a continual improvement initiative. And I can see that this project has already been linked once for another piece of analysis. And the improvement initiative is in progress. But maybe I want to create a new SIM or link to an existing continual improvement management initiative that's already out there. Let's just create a new one so you can see the process. So I'll click on create new. I'm going to be presented with the form to create my initiative, and then that's going to start the review process. So we'll just come in here and we'll give it a short description that says PO, update email profile, intake initiative. And I'll call it PO Academy, so it makes it easier to find it. And then we'll say improved intake will help with ESAT scores and overall productivity. Great. I'm sure you'll create much more poetic and detailed initiatives, short descriptions and business justifications. You'll see here now that I've done that, my process optimization project that we were just in has been linked to this initiative. So as people start to review this initiative, they can always go back and see the map that we were just on. But if I come over here now that I've created this initiative and we go over to the Continual Improvement Management workbench, you'll start to get a sense for all the initiatives that we have out there. So you might have somebody that's inside of a continual improvement COE or Center of Excellence in the organization. This might be something that they use on a regular basis to help them review and monitor all the different improvement initiatives that are out there. So I can see the ones that are work in progress. I can see the ones that are currently under review. And if I come over to this planning tab, right, I can start dragging around these ones that are work in progress or start looking at my backlog. And if I come down here to my backlog, we'll find the one that we just created. And I can open that up and I can start the review process. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a workflow assigned to this. You can see that workflow of accepted, assessed, approved, in progress, review, closed, canceled along the top here. For this, I know that I need to add a continual improvement coordinator. I might need to add an approver group inside of here. I think it's a SIM approvers. I need to give it a priority before we move it to the next level. And then there's one more thing that I need to add, a business strategy. And then we'll just come in here. We'll see which business strategies we have, let's say cost savings, and then we can accept this. And then I'll start moving it along the process. I'm not going to go through the whole process here today in the interest of time, but just so you can see, there's a lot of details that you can fill out around this. And you can start linking it, let's say, to a key performance indicator with performance analytics. So maybe I've got a time savings KPI that I want to track and align to this initiative. I can set that up there. Any of the tasks that I need to be completed to complete this improvement initiative, we can start creating them and linking them here. So whole structured workflow involved with continual improvement management, lots of training and courses out there on this workflow if you want to dig deeper. But I really wanted to kind of just show you today how we would integrate with process optimization to create that more closed loop experience. All right, Prasad, I'm going to pass it over to you now to talk a little bit about the integration with well, the why and what of Automation Center and kind of how that helps close the loop when we start thinking about it from a process optimization perspective.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Dan. Okay, I hope all of you are able to see the screen.
We're good. I can see it.
Okay, so Automation Center is one of the 4 capabilities in Automation Engine. And let me talk about Automation Engine. So Automation Engine is the offering that we launched in San Diego release. It helps you automate and connect anything to ServiceNow. You can automate any workflow that may involve modern applications that have APIs and legacy or custom applications that don't have the relevant APIs. The RPA Hub in Automation Engine capability lets you build both attended and unattended robots, and there are a lot of connections and templates to help you simplify the development of bots. The Integration Hub capability lets you connect your ServiceNow to modern applications that have APIs through different kinds of features, such as we have a lot of Integration Hub spokes. We have custom integration builder as well as data import functionalities. And the document intelligence capability lets you extract information from both structured and semi-structured documents and use human in the loop or straight through processing, which is powered by machine learning. And you then have the ServiceNow platform as the inner core. And what Automation Center does is it provides you a layer of visibility and control, targeting the leadership in any COE environment. You have the automation intake and prioritization for various automation initiatives. And we offer different kinds of dashboards to help you track your automation goals as well as the KPIs, and also the health of the execution of various automation initiatives that are running in your organization. So in summary, the automation engine helps you fulfill all the automation needs in a single cloud platform. So we have the integration hub for API-led integration, especially if you have a lot of modern applications that have APIs, then you would use integration hub, wherein we have more than 175 out-of-the-box integration hub spokes to main the third-party systems that represent more than 25,000 pre-built integrations. And you can also build your own custom spokes using our low-code environment. Then you have the RPA hub. This is for UI-led integrations. And we have more than 1,300 ready-to-use components, which are offered in the RPA Design Studio, one of the most intuitive way of building any type of RPA robot. And then we have the document intelligence. This is for extracting data from structured as well as semi-structured documents. And Automation Center helps you manage all the automation initiatives intelligently. So let's come back to the Automation Center. So one of the needs that it addresses is having a system of record for automation opportunities across the organization. As you discover the process improvement opportunities that Dan showed earlier, you can quickly submit automation requests in Automation Center. So here on this slide, if you look at the automation initiatives, you have the CIM and automation request tab. So once you go to automation request tab, you can click on this plus button,
Prasad?
Create an automation request.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. The slide deck is little truncated on the right hand side. I'm not sure whether it's me only or other people also. Yep, much better now. Okay, thank you. Much better. Thanks.
Okay, 1 second. Let me put it full screen.
Awesome. Thank you. That works.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So once you click on the create automation request button, then you are provided with this form. And this is where you can add all the details. And all of these are stored on the Automation Center. Let's cover some use cases for Automation Center. So the primary use case here is around dealing with the challenges of scaling automations. So many of the automations in the organization, they tend to break. And because of that, the workflow stop. And these could be due to various reasons, such as the applications changing their schemas, the UI layer changing their objects, or the authentication mechanisms. And with Automation Center, you have complete visibility into all of the aspects for each of these automations. And how do we do that? We rely on CMDB and change management. Since every aspect of the automation is a configuration item in ServiceNow platform, you have complete visibility into all of those aspects. And the second use case is around tracking the automation goals. So there are multiple automation goals, and it becomes increasingly difficult to monitor all the necessary metrics to track the right KPIs and then relate them to the goals. And also, how do you track the ROI so you can justify additional investments in those automation investments? With Automation Center, you can track the ROI across all these automations. We have different kinds of dashboards. I'll go through them in the next slides, where you can see the cost savings, the time savings, the productivity gains from all these automations in a vendor agnostic way. So we do have the capability where you can see all of these, data and metadata from automations which are run on third-party RPA platforms. So in summary, the automation center capability gives you complete visibility of your automation landscape across the whole enterprise. You can centrally track the automations in a vendor agnostic way. You can govern and manage your entire digital workforce. And you can also get real-time insights on different aspects of automations and bubble up any process inefficiencies or application status. So we have two main dashboards. So the first one is the overview dashboard. This is where you can see an overview of your entire automation across the enterprise. You can see the performance and the value KPIs of existing automations, the automation jobs, as well as new automation candidates on a single dashboard. So once you submit the automation request from within the process optimization workspace, then all those automations can be seen on this dashboard. So when you click on the bottom part of the dashboard, you'll see all these automations. So these are all the new requests that came in. Some of them may have come from within the process optimization. You can also submit automation requests from within the service portal. So regardless of the intake source, you have visibility into all those automation requests. Some of these may be coming from people who are experts in processes. They may have found some bottlenecks within those processes. And they know that once those specific parts of the workflow are automated, then it significantly improves the overall productivity. So all of those requests, you can track it from this dashboard. Also, you can track this application utilization across various vendors. Because Automation Center gives you that visibility in a vendor agnostic way, you can also see how those applications are being utilized across different automations. So the second dashboard is the executions dashboard. This is where you can monitor the health of various automations all in a central place. And because we are relying on CMDB, you have visibility into all the different aspects of your automations. You can also import automation metrics and data from third-party providers. We have some APIs that you can use to get those execution data. So for example, if you have, let's say, UiPath robots running in your environment and ServiceNow powered automations, you can use API to fetch the metadata from UiPath robots. And for those executions which are happening within ServiceNow, we already fetch them through CMDB. So no matter what technology you're using, you have complete visibility into all of the aspects of the automations. So there are some important terminologies that help you understand how you're tracking all these automation goals and requests. So these terminologies help you understand how we can track. So first we have the automation goal. So these could be tied to all the different types of automation initiatives that you have in the organization. You can have one or more automation goals. And for every automation goal, you will have one or more automation requests. And these automation requests may be coming from the process optimization workspace that we saw earlier, or they can come from service request portal. And each one of these automation requests need to be tied to a bot process or a base bot process. These bot processes are essentially the automated version of a real world business process. And you have visibility of that on the RPA Hub workspace. And every automation request can have multiple tasks. So once you identify, a specific candidate process that needs to be automated, then you create multiple tasks. So one task could be around defining the process definition document, building it. Another task could be implementing it. So that would be the solution definition document. One task could be around implementing it through a specific RPA vendor. Another task could be essentially testing that whole automation. So you have the ability to track all those tasks, and each task can have multiple resources. Some tasks may be resource intensive, some may not be that intensive, but you have the ability to track all of these different aspects of automation on the automation center. And one automation goal can have multiple such automation requests. So all of these are something that you can see on the automation center dashboard. So with that, let me hand it back to Dan, who will go over the continuous process automation discovery feature.
Perfect. Thanks, Prasad. I appreciate it. Cool. All right. So really what it comes down to, and I know this slide has Automation Center on there, but when we think about it, right, these sessions are focused on process optimization, which is the brand name that we give our in-platform process mining solution. But the name, right, process optimization is the important piece, right? That optimization piece. It's all about continually improving our processes over time. And that's where these parts of the solution come in, right? That we think our connections with Automation Center and Continual Improvement Management, right? It's one thing to find an insight while you mine some data, but the important part is that we act upon those insights to make the improvements inside of our organization within our processes. And that's kind of what we're looking at here, right? We've covered sessions in terms of how easy it is to turn on process optimization inside of your organization and how easy it is to set up a model and mine the data. Then we have a session out there on kind of how do we use all the different analytical capabilities and tools inside of process optimization to help us identify those analyze the data and identify those improvement opportunities. And we wanted to make sure today that we covered the piece of the solution that helps you then take those insights that you find, track them, act upon them, and then monitor their impact. Both Continual Improvement Management and Automation Center are designed to do those types of things. This slide, I don't know how that slipped in there. Perfect. So open it up. I'm going to go check the Q&A if you want to put some questions inside the Q&A. Actually, there was a question in here, Prasad, if you're still with us. Someone was asking if you could just touch briefly on the Tokyo enhancements for Automation Engine and Automation Center, if there's anything specific that or a highlight or two you want to throw out there.
Yeah, sure. So Automation Engine, as I've covered, we have 4 main capabilities. One is Integration Hub, RPA Hub, Document Intelligence, as well as Automation Center. So Automation Center is a new offering with Tokyo release. Within Document Intelligence, we have added some additional features. So we support tables within any document, so you're able to extract tables from those semi-structured documents. It could be invoices, purchase orders. You have that ability to process tables. In addition, we are also supporting the straight-through processing within Document Intelligence. So that would allow you to set a threshold for the confidence scores for the machine learning algorithms. So any extraction that comes up with a good confidence score is automatically put into the straight-through processing mode. As far as RPA Hub is concerned, we do have a lot of additional features. We have support for Chromium-based browsers. We have Chrome support already all the while, but with Chromium support, we also support Microsoft Edge browsers. So if you have any workflows where you access the applications through Microsoft Edge, then you can use RPA to automate those workflows. Integration Hub, we have some additional enhancements. We have some experts on Integration Hub who can provide some additional detail, but we have put all of those in our documentation.
Perfect. No, that's helpful. Thanks, Prasad. Good. We got another question coming in here. For automation in reference to the bot processes, does it work if the bot configuration resides from an external RPA system and there is no corresponding spoke in ServiceNow. So Prasad, I hope you might understand what that means and can address it. Prasad, did you get that one?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. So yeah, we do have that ability to pull the bot process information from a third-party system. So there are three types of metadata that we need within Automation Center. So one is around the robots that actually implement the automations. One is around the bot process, and thirdly around the executions. So all of these three types of metadata, we have APIs to fetch that from a third-party system. For ServiceNow based automations, we are able to fetch these internally through CMDB. But for third-party RPA systems, we have to rely on APIs.
Perfect. Thanks, Prasad. And there's the question that has come in kind of like, hey, we just saw a lot, right? There's a lot that can go involved. If we think about the entire process, detect, analyze, improve, monitor, there is a lot of moving parts potentially in this continual improvement cycle that are here. And you know, for some organizations, they're not, you know, this is a level of, let's say, maturity that they haven't been used to. You know, is this a one-person thing or a team thing? I mean, certainly what we're talking about here is definitely process optimization is definitely a team sport type scenario, right? Identifying opportunities, you want to identify opportunities, lots of people, those improvement opportunities, whether they be from an automation perspective or just a general like, hey, we can make this better. You want, you know, that's why there's so many intake channels for both the Automation Center and continual improvement, is you want to capture those ideas from everywhere. And then, you know, for some folks, you know, for process optimization or process mining specifically, we usually say that you're going to have a business process owner, let's say somebody who really understands the process involved, as well as somebody that might be a little bit more comfortable with some of the analytical capabilities in there to do some of that analysis in that piece. On the improvement side, there's certainly different skills depending on the improvement that you're trying to make or the change that you want to make. You know, the person that knows how to author a virtual agent conversation might have different skills than the person that's going to be building an RPA bot on the platform or implementing predictive intelligence solution. And then, you know, you're going to have people that are focused on just continual improvement management and monitoring that queue of initiatives. And of course, those initiatives have to be prioritized and then approved by people on the executive side of the house or management and the leadership side of the house. So most certainly, this is what we're talking about here is definitely a team sport for most, if not all, organizations.
Yeah, same is the case with Automation Center. So we have different personas, you know, that deal with Automation Center. So we have, you know, a business user who understands the cost metrics for every process, so they will have more visibility into those aspects. A person who is more technically oriented, so we have a technical user persona, and they are the ones who map every one of these automation requests into bot processes, whether in ServiceNow or external third-party RPA providers. They understand the implementation details, so they deal with you know, tracking the progress of implementations of those automations. So it's a team sport at the end, and all of the various aspects of these automations are bubbled up for helping the leadership at any COE.
Hey, Dan, sorry, I was on mute. I wanted to go back to Catherine's question on corresponding.
Sure. And why don't you introduce yourself too, Vinny?
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm a PM for Automation Center. So I've been working on this product for a year now. So happy to hear all the questions. So Catherine, to your question, you'd asked if there are no corresponding spokes in ServiceNow. We do have spokes today. We've had it for a while for UiPath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere. But for the integration to bring in data within Automation Center, we started with generic APIs where if you even have a homegrown RPA system, you could push data to Automation Center. But in the in the next few releases, in the next immediate release, we're looking at using the spokes because we had to upgrade them where those spokes would have all the data that Automation Center needs. So we want the implementation to be simpler, easier, and faster. So for UiPath, in the next release, and we're going to bring in data via the spokes, and we're looking at Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and some future releases. So just wanted to call that out.
Thank you, Benny. Appreciate it. Any other questions out there that we can touch on or get answered today, or put in the queue to answer in a future session, maybe? All right, just for those of you that this is your first time and you've kind of said, wow, now I'm really excited about the possibilities of process optimization. How do I learn more about this? So a couple of things that you can do next. First is there is a Now Learning self-paced course out there called Process Optimizations Essentials. That's about a 90-minute course that'll walk you through kind of the basics, as well as, hey, what do I need to do to turn this on, and some of the terminology that's there. So highly recommend that for anyone that's going to be involved in process optimization. And then you also have the ability to activate process optimization in one of your subprod instances and take it for a little bit of a test drive. So the plugins that the plugins that you can activate or should be activating is one, the process optimization plugin. And then one of the benefits we offer from a ServiceNow perspective, again, we know our workflows, is that we provide content packs to help jumpstart your analytical journey on the platform. So there's a content pack for ITSM, CSM, HR out there. And if you happen to be using some of our vertical solutions, there are some vertical content packs as well. And these are going to provide you with some of those configurations, as well as those insights cards that I showed you. We provide some of those out of the box. Obviously, you can create your own and tweak the ones we provide, but it's a nice starting point. So these are the two plugins that you need to activate in that subprod to get started. The course will help you. And then there's some prior Academy sessions actually go through the configuration and setup and running a model. It really is a very simple process. Other resources that might be useful for you. One, I mentioned the training already. Two, we obviously are using process optimization here at ServiceNow. I showed you an example of kind of how we're closing the loop from our CXO dashboard between the Continual Improvement Management records, as well as the link to the process maps tied to the KPIs. We do have a white paper about how we've set up our process mining program here at ServiceNow and some of the initial findings that we've found. There's a Forbes article out there written by our very smart Chief Analytics Officer, or SVP of Analytics, Vijay Kotu, around process mining's impact on the employee experience. We do have a community forum specifically set up for process optimization for you to post questions, and we post a lot of resources. These have just been revamped on Monday, or the forum has just been re-released on Monday with a new look and feel. So if you do go to the product hub section, you will find underneath other products process optimization. Now you can actually get to the forum itself. There's questions there that you can post questions there. Our team will answer them pretty quickly within a day, usually. There's links to the Academy sessions if you want to get other friends registered or signed up for this. There's links to the the prior recordings. Lots of content out there. We did have 3 sessions at Knowledge focused on process optimization. So those sessions are available to you via that forum page. And then there's a live on now session called Getting Started with ServiceNow's in-platform process mining. It walks through the initial turning on of the plugins, the setup of your first model, and then some of the analytical capabilities as well. So plenty of resources out there if you want to do some additional learning beyond these sessions here today. And then there, well, now, not and then, question coming in about, it's good, thank you for putting the question in, because I was going to pass over this last call for questions slide. So is there a certification process associated with courses and exams? So if you take that Now Learning course, you'll get kind of a notification that you completed that course, and you can post that to your ServiceNow profile. We have submitted content for partners, the partner training program. So there can be a certification for partners to go through. I'm not sure when that's going to be available, but we do have the content submitted. So look for that coming in the future. So those are the 2 places that I'm aware of right now in terms of certifications, or kind of something that says, hey, I took this class and I understand what process optimization is. Any other last minute questions before we kind of wrap up for the day? All right, going once, going twice, going 3 times. If you have a question, and you can always reach out to me via email or on Twitter or LinkedIn, and you can also reach out and post it on the forum. That's best because then everybody gets the benefits of it. The answers. All right, so in terms of what's coming up next, this actually, I believe, is our 7th Academy session. So there's lots of content out there. If you've missed a couple and you want to go back and review. Our next session is currently scheduled for October 21st. And there's been some questions around, hey, what is the best way to use process optimization with kind of SLAs and processes that involve SLAs? So we're going to try to focus on that the next time, provide some ideas or best practices when it comes to SLA data. Then we'll on November 4th, we'll talk about kind of using process optimization against the request process that's there. And then on November 18th, the current schedule has us talking about, in Tokyo, we introduced multi-dimensional mining, in which you can start linking different processes together. Think life cycle events from an HR perspective. So interpreting those interconnected process maps is not exactly something that many of us grew up doing. So it's we're going to spend a little bit of time going through kind of how do you read those maps if you're interested in creating them in your side of your organization. Just so this is the Process Optimization Academy. There are some fantastic other academies out there, whether it be at the platform level, virtual agent, platform analytics, or the mobile application. So if you're interested, go check out some of those other academies. I would say they're awesome, but not nearly as awesome as the Process Optimizations one. But that's just my opinion. You guys can go out and find out for your own self. And with that, I'm just going to wrap it up for this week. I really appreciate all of your time, and thank you for attending. See you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Dan.